don't worry. Right now, I think we have one of the top seeds of this tournament, or one of the most talked about, I should say, among this realm of NASB Gality. We have, forgot the name of the whole tag, piloted by a 7-year-old. This is the fabled Bread sister that has been trained from the nethers of the recesses of Bread's mind, out here doing work with the new and improved buffed Korra, who is arguably the best character in the game, going up against MOF, who I believe, what is it, Reptar?
Looks like it. Actually,
yeah,
Reptar.
Now, in theory, and in practice, it's probably not a good matchup.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I can say Reptar at least still has kill power out the wazoo, but with the crazy mobility of Korra and among her burst options being what they are, essentially just a teleporting Ganondorf from one side of the level to the other, it's hard to deal with that even as like medium-sized characters. So with Reptar, he gets oppressed from characters that can't do that. So this is going to be interesting to say the least.
Oh, for sure. And definitely these players are all very interesting for sure. MOF, definitely very skilled player in other games as well. But we'll see here in terms of like if 7-year-old can keep the legend going. You know, these two are very, very good.
Yeah, honestly, it's gonna be interesting. Can I just say I'm so sick of players like having just a different ass character in like the logo when I don't know who they are. It's like I assume like, oh, it's an April main. No, but I suppose that shouldn't have anything to do with the character that they like playing necessarily.
Yeah.
Jellyfish, please, excuse me, heavens. And Jellyfish Fields is the pick. You know, at the very least for Reptar, one thing he's got going is that the blast zones on this stage from the top are humongous. Korra should have a difficult time killing Reptar off the top here, but I feel like that's not going to matter because that's not really where Korra gets her kills. She gets them more off the side with that crazy snare, right?
Right. And that's something that we've seen from 7-year-old in the few clips I've seen. And I don't know how many of these are like circulating within servers and on Twitter and whatnot. But pretty much, 7-year-old, they tend to be going for a lot of very simplistic game plan. Like, look at this. Taking the first stock is this 7-year-old. With just snare, you'll be seeing a lot of down air, light down air, a lot of these movement abilities, and a few slime cancels here or there. But nothing too complex. You're not going to be seeing at least the most crazy, like, uses of slime. It's just going to be very traditional. I get my damage, interrupt my end lag, and use the dash attack to the best of its ability. And dash attack also being a move we have not seen too many of the top cores use just yet, because as good as it is, they don't need to. Whereas this simplified game plan that 7-year-old is doing, for lack of a better word, is easy enough for a 7-year-old to do it.
Korra's just too good in the damn drop zone, man. I mean,
it's kind of crazy.
That's another reason this matchup is probably terrible, is because Reptar is already pretty bad at dealing with that from a lot of other characters, but Korra's, even before her buffs, was the best character in the game at killing you in the drop zone with snares and whatnot, for one of the biggest reasons being that in a lot of situations, because of just the few intangibility frames that air dodging has, you can't air dodge snare. If you do, you just wind up getting hit by the weak hit instead of the strong hit. And with a lot of characters, with either how susceptible their recoveries are or with just how strong snare is, it's gonna kill you regardless. So it becomes basically a one-move option select that Korra has when she goes in the drop zone to do that attack. And I'm only bringing that up because, you know, it forced Reptar to air dodge the neutral air, forced the character into a bad position regardless. But as I say that, in the mix, 75% already off of a fresh stock is MOF right now, matching up to what is basically the same weight percentage as when you're fighting a Reptar.
Yeah, right. And it's like, that's the scary thing about this character, right? Is Reptar, in my most recent tier, unless I'll spoil it, is I did put this character as bottom 2, but that doesn't mean they're unviable. They're a character that has a lot of like very fundamental skill.
Oh no.
And MOF showing it there, forcing a burst, and then even then Korra unable to make it back. MOF having great DI there as well.
Great DI, and knowing that they didn't need to use burst there either because of how heavy Reptar is. That was really just good, like, character knowledge. Now you're gonna, still just choosing to save it instead. That's actually smart. When you're at that high of a percent and on the way back with a character whose recovery is as exploitable as Reptar's, like, you're probably just gonna get hit by a strong move anyway.
Right.
It was actually pretty smart of MOF to just sort of save it right there.
And look at this,
now they're gonna save it for when they need it.
Yeah, they'll either get the opportunity to burst if they get hit with like that touch of death that we have seen. Like 7-year-old does tend to have the ability to get like high amounts of damage, right? But now you have 3 bars of burst. Oh gosh, may need to use something for recovery.
No, you have to go solo.
Okay.
Oh, that's crazy. The spot dodge intangible, or the tech roll intangibility coming in clutch for 7-year-old right now.
Ooh.
That was so scary. You're definitely dead here with an up strong. Oh man,
Good
this is
carry.
anybody's game. Don't get it
That
twisted.
might be, yeah, that's gonna do it. MOF taking
All
game
right.
1. That was close, very close for my liking, Nintoonist.
It definitely was, and MOF out here taking out one of the biggest projections in Game 1 to win the tournament right now. Definitely is going to need to do a little bit more work to solidify the finale right here, but that was pretty solid stuff. I mean, I will say, MOF did take pretty good care as to survival DI on a stage like Jellyfish. Wound up living at a lot, even higher percents than Reptar normally does based on the blast zones of that stage. So if I'm 7-year-old, I'm not going to Trem. I'm not going back to Jelly. I would want to go to a stage where I can overwhelm Reptar and just utilize my crazy burst range while having Ganondorf level style normals, while also killing Reptar earlier on. So Rooftop would be my pick if MOF decided not to ban it, which I imagine they probably did. That would probably be a good ban against Korra.
Absolutely.
Miracle would probably also be a good one to get rid of against Korra as well. Those platforms are not at a good height to deal with as Reptar against a character like Korra. And then, I don't know where else, but it's looking like 7-year-old is going to be ready right now.
Yeah,
MOF only needs one more. This is still best of 3 territory, is it not?
It is. So
It
it is
is.
a top 8 qualifier.
Oh, man. This is one of the biggest projections to win the tournament right here, and MOF is only 1 game away from taking him out. Jellyfish Fields is the pick. I don't know how much I like this. I mean, in terms of blast zones, it's, you know, it's both good and bad for Korra. I already mentioned Reptar surviving off the top really good, but with the crazy burst range of side B and like that just insane dash move that Korra has, like, you can definitely gimp and kill off the side pretty easily.
Right.
But I guess 7-year-old just wasn't doing that enough, and the blast zones on the side didn't matter enough. Just the survival DI of MOF was just too good to be true. So we're gonna have to see how 7-year-old's gonna be able to adapt here.
Again, taking this first stock so quickly with just
What do you do?
yeah covering
What do you do?
Reptar's option and having good patience and being able to like just take out Reptar. Just be patient, have that charge snare. Very good option for Korra. Very strong, very large, can hit on both ends. So it's just one of those options you're gonna have to watch out for. And for any of you saying this is not a 7-year-old, I have seen literal video proof of this 7-year-old playing. It's not. I don't think it's the most ethical thing to like share a child playing on the internet. You know, it just that's a whole
trust
other
me.
conversation. But
We were wary of it. Believe it. It wasn't just
yeah, this is a real 7-year-old. This is as funny as
And
it is.
7-year-olds have the best reaction time in the world. They're like young, not old.
Right.
Can I just say I hate it when people do that? Be like, oh, it's 7-year-old, they're a prodigy. And they are. It's still not easy to compete in a game when you're that young, as far as your cognitive skills and abilities go as a person, because you're young.
Right.
But their reaction time is way better than mine as an almost 30-year-old man, so like...
Yeah, kids. That's just how it be in the esport.
And they don't have a job! They have time! Like...
Yeah.
I'm not trying to discredit Brett's sister. She's, like, nasty at the game so far. I'm just saying it's not the first time we've been like, oh my god, MK Leo's only 15, you know what I mean?
Right,
It's just,
right.
ugh,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mafia.
MOF's getting kind of moffed, though, right now. The adaptation
Yeah.
has been solid from 7-year-old.
Oh, I like that. But didn't get the spike hitbox. We'll have to see.
Well,
Trying to
that was
recover
gonna be
here.
a snare, if anything.
Yeah. Oh man. Nair coming in. Oh, tilted. Had to burst there. Respects the pressure and also on that last stock.
No Slime Shield wound up having to waste so much more meter than he would have had to, and had he just done that instead.
Oh my god.
Alright, good tech. Don't know how much it's gonna matter. Korra's pretty heavy too. I mean, not Reptar heavy, but don't get it twisted. This character lives a while. Saving the burst right there because you can just do a solid burst option in. Winds up dying pretty early on anyway, immediately after utilizing it. But still up an entire stock. It's looking like it might be a miracle for MOF to be able to take this, but there you go. Oh, we get a dunk!
Wow.
Miracle if you do that one more time. We might be witnessing one today.
Oh, bursting there. And that was kind of, I think, maybe the least on life that MOF may have needed. Like, look at the slime canceling there. I think just needs one more hit here. Doesn't get the back. Oh! She did. Oh my god. 7-year-old.
Misspaced the up B even a little bit. That's all it takes for Korra to just blast you in the face like that.
7-year-old getting game 2 here.
Okay. Now I will say, again, please excuse me.
All good.
This sucks. I hate this. I'm getting better, don't worry. I will say, if I'm MOF, I don't know if I'm going back there. I don't know how much it favors you necessarily. Korra can just kill you off the sides and while living off the top way earlier, as well as just the general layout of it as well. I don't know how much like maneuvering on platforms matters against Korra, because Korra can just blow you up if you just wind up spending too much time on them. Pariahs is going to make Korra pretty hard to approach because she's got actual like projectiles as well as better needling options than Reptar has, bless him the whip.
Right.
I'm really trying to think of a good stage that Reptar would have against Korra. Not sure if there is one. I'm gonna be pragmatic here for a second. I just don't know if she does necessarily. What are your thoughts on that, Cherry?
Yeah, my thought is like, no matter where you go, right? Korra is gonna be able to kill you, and being heavy as Reptar, like, this character is going to be capable of, you know, like, living slightly longer, but it's still gonna be like normal percentages, you know, compared to like other cast members when they get hit by snare. Usually that's a killing move that kills ridiculously early or is just good at doing it all the time. So I feel like no matter where you go, if it's a low ceiling, maybe that's not the best idea, but it does help for Reptar. It like there is some scary situations no matter what stage you go. But I feel like it's just been these side blast stunts that seem to be the way for MOF that have really been struggling. So I don't know. Tremorton has some pretty large side blast zones. Top blast zone is a little, you know, shorter. And there's other stages too that help out with that. So it just, I think, I don't know. Maybe Harmonic would be a good choice. It's very hard to determine in here.
Yeah, Harmonic is an interesting one. Reptar will have a lot of room to play with. Might actually be able to... I didn't even think of Harmonic, you know? He might actually be able to negate some of Korra's burst range on that stage, so side B might be just, like, a little bit more manageable.
Right. Looks like 7-year-old hasn't banned stages just yet. Oh, wait, never mind. Good so. There we go. So yeah, it looks like Urkin, no, Rooftop, no, and Miracle, and that makes sense, you know. Each of those having pretty short, or thin, blast zones on the left and right. As well as, yeah, Tremorton is going to be the pick from MOF. Makes sense.
Oh, boy.
We talked about it earlier, and the one worry I have with this stage, and I didn't really talk about it initially, was that I'm worried about the platforms. You know, these big characters, infamous for getting stuck on the open space in between, and you really have to always shield drop on this stage to get through platforms consistently just because of how interruptive they are. So we'll have to see if MOF is used to that. Obviously it can be a little bit difficult for anyone to navigate that stage, let alone Reptar, but it is a good Reptar stage at the same time.
Yeah, it is, because, you know, it's a really good Reptar stage because the blast zones are really big and he survives while your opponent might not as much because of his raw kill power. How many jabs does it take to get to the center of a damn Reptar? That was ridiculous.
Yeah, right. And that move is so
one,
huge, right?
a two,
Three.
a three. Oh. How many spikes does it take to get to the center of a Korra? Only one, apparently.
That, yeah. And, I mean, that's kind of been something that we haven't seen either set or match so far in this set is MOF in the lead early. She's always been kind of behind early on with those, like kind of push and pull aspect. And let's see what she can do to come back. 7-year-old kind of getting drowned out just now.
Yeah. This is a good Reptar stage because, like, Reptar, he's not good when, like, you're able to keep your distance from him. Not every character in this game has insanely oppressive tools to just keep Reptar in the air at all times and just not let him play the game. And if you're playing a character that doesn't have that necessarily, or, you know, thrives off of, like, crazy burst range and just crazy strong options that, like, Korra has. Alright, no slime cancel on that, just trying to keep both bars. I thought for sure after charging that the whole time, it was just gonna, like, slime cancel that as, like, a bait or something, or be like, no, I messed up! Please! I didn't mean to start charging a strong attack. Please don't let me do that. But no, that's not the case. Small stage with big blast zones, Bell's pretty good time for Reptar. And the stock count is certainly representing that right now, with only about a 30% differential, but a whole big stock one, as opposed to these players right now, with 3 stocks on MOF and only 2 on 7-year-old. No Slime Shield, though, coming out again from MOF and wind up using Burst in the corner. That's the second time we've actually seen MOF decide to use Burst in the corner due to a lack of Slime Shielding. Wind up, like, spending way more meter than he has to at the ledge, and this looks like it might be the stock because of it.
Oh, able to make it back. That's huge. That's so big.
7-year-old is just getting reversaled so hard off the level, Cherry. This is not good.
And this is, like, kind of the difference between, like, veteran experience and, like just kind of first timing experience, you know, like MOF realizing they don't really need to beat 7-year-old in like a traditional way, you know. You just kind of have to get those initial spikes if they overextend here, and not able to do so, covering the option just right for 7-year-old. MOF has to try and finish this. She wants to move on. Let's see if she can do it. Bear. Oh, gets the tilt.
Well, no Slime Shield coming out from 7-year-old either. And Reptar is one of the characters whose moves have such insane shield pushback that Slime Shield is typically very important against him if you're the one who's sitting in disadvantage against him. And so far, we're not seeing too much of that from 7-year-old. We have full burst on deck for MOF as well, up an entire stock. And as I say that, Slime canceling the up E to try to get a punish. Air dodge forward. Thought that was going to be a grab ledge on the part of 7-year-old for sure. Nothing doing. Needs to take this stock now if 7-year-old wants any chance at taking out MOF right here. But the back throw? Not yet, Cherry.
Oh my gosh. Does have burst if she can maybe not get hit here. Oh god.
Snare?
Oh no, Nintoonist.
Right. We have a chance. 7-year-old has a chance. We've seen Korra bring games back from the depths of hell before. This is Reptar, one of the easiest characters to combo in this game. Good slime cancel on the dash attack, making sure to get the punish. We have burst and use it immediately. MOF prepared for the immediate burst, and there is one of the top seeds or top projections of the tournament getting down to loser's bracket versus MOF with the bite. I love the reaction time on the burst right there, and it was really smart for 7-year-old to use burst immediately to try to make sure the hitbox of it gets elongated, but just didn't jump out in time. Just didn't know what the best option was to be able to get away from that quickly, and MOF did. And that is 7-year-old going down to losers.
Yeah, 7-year-old.
Wow.
And, I mean, definitely, it's crazy. Someone was talking about this. It took MOF, a top player in Melee, to be able to take a singular game and even beat a 7-year-old. 7-year-old hadn't dropped a game until this round. So...
Not a single game?
No.
Oh, wow. That's a testament of skill right there, to not drop a single game up until the top 8 qualifier.
Yeah. So, crazy. Just absolutely hilarious, but also, like, pretty cool. It also gives a good testament to Brad, training his sister. He sent me a video of them. They were at the gym this morning, and he's like, she's getting ready, she's warming up, and she was, like, just running. It's been very funny, you know.
Hey, what are you training for? Are you like an Olympian? Like, do you play soccer or something? Do you do like gymnastics?
Yeah, right. No, she's a NASB 2 tournament.
I'm getting ready for the NASB Arcadian, sir.
Yeah.
Please go away. Stop talking to me at the gym.
So let's see here.
Yeah, feel bad. You know, my boy Lardo out at 17th. I'm bringing that up because I was coaching him. Had to stop coaching him because I had to come commentate. Unfortunately, lost him out for the top 16 qualifier. Very sad. I wish I could be at 2 places at once, like my boy Danny Phantom.
Right.
Tragically, no, though. But Brad, yeah, better testament to him as a coach than me, for sure. Like, getting his sister up this far through a winner's bracket and still in the tournament this late in the game so far as well. So, good stuff to them. Wonder who we're going to be getting up next. Is it Pablo Escobar?
We were going to potentially go to them, but I was too slow to get to them, so we're gonna kind of wait for a second here. We're gonna get one loser's match before we transition to top 8, and so we're gonna watch Kiwingly versus the winner of the losers round set.
All right, Kiwingly versus the loser of the round 1 set. So that's going to be either.
I think we saw them on stream earlier. Hakana Jamboree.
I played Hanukkah Jamboree.
Or,
before.
Who else was it? Or JBB, Garfield player.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this match because I would genuinely like to see either of these players. They're both very entertaining to watch. Garfield is seldomly seen since his nerfs. Still a pretty good character in his own right, but not as good as his slight hollow shell of his former self, if we're being honest. Versus Hanukkah Jamboree, who I believe I played before, has actually beaten me before. If you remember that clip where I got, like, the breached, like the up strong that comboed into the piano. Do you remember that? Do you remember that clip? Yeah, that was actually Hanukkah Jamboree.
That's
that
awesome.
Hit me with that.
That's awesome.
That was very, very soon. One of the first tournaments, I think, that I played in at least, after they reworked Grandma Gertie. Where they changed the craziness that the old move, the old side B used to be the breach.
That was awesome.
And just gave her the RNG factor. And I was screaming at my screen. I'm like, what the hell? They gave this her a freaking final smash now?
Yeah, right.
Like, it was crazy. I did not expect that. It was among the hardest I've ever been bodied. And had to, like, plow back through losers later to make sure I got my rerun against Hanukkah Jamboree because I just got hit with some Chicken Little shit.
They're very silly, Gertie. They actually play, I was talking to somebody about this before we went on stream. They play very similar to how I play. And when I played Gertie, I was very much, and this was before they changed the whole down special to be 2 uses. I was very much on using EX down special to summon the bigger plane. At the time, you used to be able to spawn giant planes and all these other like weird projectiles on top of what you had. And I was like, yeah, that's the way to play. And Jamboree tends to be kind of similar. They obviously do like some of the stuff, but like that Granny does up air stuff, traditional side special stuff, snare stuff, but it's definitely a lot more like set up and projectile focused than others. And D-Gen 2, he's like more a mix, I'd say. So it's like, it's interesting to see how weird of a character Gertie is, can have so many play styles for sure.
D-Gen was definitely more aggressive than Hanukkah Jamboree.
Yes, absolutely.
To say the least. Hanukkah, if Hanukkah gets the right item, they'll camp with it.
Yeah.
Like as Gertie, and like then just wait to get a better one and then somehow like lab out a combo of the breach into the piano or some crazy ish like that. Really takes advantage of the new Gertie, I feel, better than a lot of like other Gertie players that I've seen. I mean, you know, Gertie doesn't even necessarily have to. The character's normals are just insane. The character's been borderline top 3, you know, for how long at this point, really. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that, assuming that we don't get Jabibi instead, who Garfield versus Lucy is like, it's an okay matchup, you know, depending on the mode. Like, you know, Garfield's mobility being what it is can actually catch Lucy in ghost mode in some scenarios, as well as just kill her at some pretty wonky percents. On top of that, you know, Garfield's combo game is very potent. The character's punish game is, even after, like, you know, Garfield's nerfs, the character's punish game is still absolutely devastating in the right hands. Do not get it twisted. And Jabibi's been one of the ones who's been rocking with Garfield for quite some time, so I'm going to be anxious to see that against Kiwingly, who has top-8'd some of the big boy brackets, some of the Nickelodeon as opposed to Nickelodeon Junior brackets before, so
sure.
Kiwingly is definitely a good seed for him to make it pretty far in this bracket as well. I mean, we've been talking about who's going to play Kiwingly this whole time versus just Kiwingly, like himself.
Right.
So, Kiwingly, of course, not as campy as a lot of other Lucy players.